Hello, you guys. So I thought, since I'm in the mood, I'm gonna shoot a second video. And look, on my channel, I don't really talk about like racism or colorism a lot, especially within the trans community, because I feel like we already have so many issues that fixating on colorism and racism sometimes is just counterproductive. And I've always kind of wanted to make my channel a place where it's more about support and love and coming from a positive place than it is about talking about some of our problems and issues. But I definitely wanted to make this video. I wanted to talk about just how toxic our community can be. Just, how toxic the LGBT, the whole alphabet community can be. How toxic. I wanted to talk about the chicanery, the tomfoolery within the alphabet community. Like I've said to you guys, like I transitioned about in 2013, end of the year, is when I really transitioned. So it's been a hot minute. And the first part of my transition, I didn't really interact with anyone who was LGBT, and I always had this thing in my heart where I was like, I just want to meet somebody who is going through the same thing that I'm going through, someone who can really understand. Because I think my friends that were around me at the time, they were all cisgender, they were all cisgender, heterosexual, heteronormative. They were not a part of the counterculture. So some of the things that I was going through, or rather all of the things that I was going through, they didn't understand and they would invalidate. And I just wanted to be around somebody who I could, like kiki with. And I wanted to get support and advice. Woo, child. So I decide to join an LGBT NGO. So I started working in the NGO, and I'm just thrust into the community, and here I was all excited, believing and expecting these people to be the most understanding. Girl, all I can tell you is that I was never ready. I was never ready for any of the transphobia that I would experience. And the thing is, it never made sense to me because I always assumed that if you were, let's say, a lesbian, if you were gay, if you were a trans, if you were bisexual, if you were asexual, you came from a space where you understood what rejection feels like. You understood what it feels like to be made to feel like you're not worthy or you're not worthwhile. So I never understood why people from that community would be the same people who would fight you the hardest. And the thing is, when you really think about it, it makes sense. Someone who is at war with themselves, someone who's not happy, someone who is dealing with their own feelings of inadequacy, their own internalized self-hatred, is just gonna spit that fire back to you. You know what I mean? It's that old saying that, there's something about that person that I cannot stand about myself. So I'm going to treat that person horribly. Because I think within our community, when we look at each other, you literally see the physical manifestation of everything that you dislike about yourself. Or you see the physical manifestation of what everybody says is wrong about you. that's why a lot of butch queens, like to make fun of us. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of trans girls who pass don't really want to fuck with the girls that don't pass. And that's why they treat them like shit. You know what I mean? Girl, I remember I used to wear this brand of makeup called Iglot. And it was really expensive, but I really, really liked it. Um, so I go to this store, and they were all of these, the people who work in the store, all the store assistants. There were three girls, and I was talking to the one girl, and there was this one butch queen. So, the butch queen, he had like all the makeup, looked fabulous. And so the one girl and the butch queen, they're both helping me. And we're just talking about makeup, and I'm very vocal about who I am and my transition and whatnot. And I mentioned to I mentioned to the girl that I'm really insecure about my 5 o'clock shadow. So she was like, okay, well, you could use this foundation. You could use this to try and cover it up. And me and her, we start talking, we start laughing, we start kicking, and me and the butch queen, the three of us are all just laughing and joking, and it's all good in the hood. Hey, gal, doesn't the butch queen start to misgender me the whole fucking ass time? And it was one of those things where it was one of those situations because, okay, so I'm talking to the girl, the butch queen is standing with us, and the other girl is helping another customer. So the butch queen starts misgendering me, and the three cis women are all looking at him, and they're all looking at me because I think the way that he was misgendering me is you could pick up the malice. You could pick up the malice in his voice. There's a difference between somebody who misgenders you just because they don't know and someone who has like ill intent. And that's the space that he was coming from. Fast forward, did he not transition? Did he not transit? Did she not transition? Did she not transition? Is she not one of the girls? The same person who is out here talking all that smack, saying him, his, this man, that bitch queen literally did the most that day. But lo and behold, like a year later, no, it was a year and a half. It was about a year and a half. I bumped into her at the club. And, she's caked up the makeup. She's one of the girls now. She's one of the girls. And you would think that now that she is a transgender woman herself, and she now understands what it feels like when people misgender you. She understands how much it hurts when people misgender you. That she would be supportive of other trans girls. No, honey. She went from being a toxic butch queen to a toxic transgender girl. The chicanery. Like, I just couldn't. I literally, like, I'm trying to can, but I can't. I would always see her at the club, and she would always give me, like, the side eye. She would always give me these dirty looks. The one time, me and my one friend, who is evolving right now, she's trying to figure out if she wants to stay a butch queen or if she wants to transition. So me and my friend, Cody, were sitting next to this toxic ass transgender girl. And she, this girl was throwing all these hims and his and just doing the most. And you know what? You really have to forgive people like that. You just have to get up, get your drink, remove yourself from the situation, because if you still interact with people that are treating you poorly, you are a co-signer to your own abuse. You are complicit to their actions because you're allowing it. Yes, the first time it happens, girl, we're all shocked. All of us, take 2 steps back and we're like, this is shady. But once you continue to interact with a person like that and you continue to allow yourself to be in those situations with that person, and yeah, then you're co-signing. Then you're co-signing. Then you are in a strange kind of dynamic, and you are just as much of the problem as that other person because you're allowing yourself to be mistreated. No one should ever treat you as though you're nothing. And if you feel like somebody is, girl, walk away. Walk away. You have two damn feet, not even one, 2 of them. God gave you 2, allowing you to remove yourself from that situation. Look, I'm sorry that some of us are so toxic. Like, I will apologize for the LGBT community. I know we've all been attacked. I am sorry that people have treated us this way. People in our own community have treated us this way. I really, really am sorry that people who were at war with themselves decided to project their own hatred onto you. And the thing is, it doesn't just stop with like the butch queens or the trans girls. It's all of us. I've seen us. I've seen this. I've seen us. I have seen us do this to each other, and I have no forgiveness for how we act. No forgiveness for how we act. There was this there was this one trans attracted man who, he was African American and he was dating a Caucasian female, and the 2 of them made a YouTube video which has now been deleted, and thank God they deleted that video. But they were just kikiing and talking about how black trans women will always look like niggas, like we're always gonna be brick bitches. And the Caucasian trans woman, she was kiki, she was laughing in the background, feeling herself, being like, they look like men, their Serena Williams asses are never gonna pass. They look like gorillas. You know how they talk about us. They call us bird roaches. You know what they say about us, girl. You've heard that tape. We all know. And they were just laughing, and I just thought, you know what? The self-hatred between the 2 of y'all is so deep. Is so deep. It's so deep because I think we all want to be we all want to be in this state where we're like, yes, I'm this, yes, I'm trans, but I'm not as bad as that person. Listen to those words. When you say to yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously, that I'm not as bad as you are invertedly saying, like, you're basically saying that you're bad. You're basically saying that you are intrinsically bad. You're just not as bad as the others, but that you are bad. So this toxicity, if that's even a word, this toxicity that is within our community comes from the fact that we think that we're bad. We think that we're broken. We think that there's something wrong with what we're doing. We look at ourselves and we hate ourselves. And when we see the physical manifestation of all of that, when we see another person in the community, we want to project all that hatred onto them. I hope that I've never done that. I don't think that I've ever done that. I've always tried to treat people with love and kindness because I know how much it hurts. But if you want to step outside of that toxicity, if you want to become a better person, just realize that you can. The first step is realizing the problem. The first step is realizing the hurt that we inflict on each other. That's the first step. The second step is making the decision, getting to a point where you decide that I'm not going to be this person. I choose to be better. I choose to evolve. The Christabel that I was in 2018 is not the Christabel that I choose to be today in the here and now. Like, I made a video a couple of months ago where I talked about an experience where I had where these butch queens were all coming after me. They were all bullying me, and they were just all making fun of me, and they started to take pictures of me, and they were throwing all this shade and all of this hate. It really comes from a broken spirit. It really comes from a child who was beaten down so many times, who was humiliated so many times. It comes from a soul that has been crushed. And the thing is, if you ever find yourself in that situation where you encounter a toxic ass trans girl or a toxic ass butch queen, if you encounter someone from our community throwing all of that hate, just realize you don't have to be part of it and you can simply walk away. Don't even try to fight with these people. And when I say these people, I mean toxic people. Don't try to fight with them, because the problem is when you fight with a fool, they drag you down to their level and they beat you with experience. They literally beat you down with all of their experience. So this toxic ass trans girl, she's also she's multicultural and she's very, very light skinned, you know, like the hazel eyes, the good hair, all of that. And for those that don't know, for those that think, you know, South Africa and Cape Town is just this bastion of liberal ideas, and it's so cosmopolitan. It's not. It's not. I live in the Apartheid Museum of South Africa. This is the Apartheid Museum of South Africa. Yes, there are other smaller places that are not as racist, but Cape Town has a lot of institutionalized racism. We have a lot of institutionalized racism, and it's enhanced within the LGBT community. The colorism, the colorism, the tribalism, all of the Zims are enhanced in Cape Town. We really, really get the brunt of it. And it's sad. It's sad. And I've seen it, you know, when I've gone out to places where, you know, LGBT places, queer-friendly places would be queer-friendly if you fit the mold of, like, if you're heteronormative, like acting like a straight acting queer person, or a Caucasian trans woman who is read as female. That's when they celebrate you. But when you become othered in the group that is othered, there is a lot more backlash that you receive. And it's sad. It really, really is sad. But we have to be aware of these things. We have to be aware of these things. And we have to take our power back. You know what I mean? We have to take our power back, and we can no longer be complicit in our own abuse. You know what I mean? And it starts with, number one, not giving your hard-earned money to establishments that do not respect you as a person. If you're a trans person, if you're a gay person, if you're gender non-conforming, and you give your money to bars that are racist, that are transphobic, or that just treat you poorly, that treat you poorly. Let's not even make it a bigger thing than what it is. If you walk into a space that treats you poorly and they make themselves out to be queer friendly, but they're not being friendly towards you, walk away, girl. You can spend your money on so many other things. If you walk into a space, and I've been in spaces where they'll always serve the black person last, and it makes it worse if you're the black trans person and they serve me last. Don't go throw your money away in a place like that. Don't surround yourself with people like that, because places like that are designed for the vultures that enjoy them. A gem like you deserves to be celebrated. And believe me when I say this, there's so many places that want to celebrate you, that want to embrace you, that want to love you, that want to love you. Go and be loved there. Don't go throw your money away at some, toxic ass, low-key, drug addicted girl. You know what I'm talking about. Low-key drug den that is anti-you. Don't even make it a trans thing anymore. Don't even make it a black thing anymore. Don't even make it a dark skin thing anymore. Make it a you thing. Make it a you thing. Don't go into a place that is anti-you. You deserve more. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be appreciated. And you deserve to be embraced. I hope you know that. And I hope that you know that you are special and that you are loved. I'm sorry that our community has treated you the way that it has. But I believe in you. And I know that you're going to choose better spaces. Spaces that accept you. Spaces that love you. If you're not happy where you are, get up and go. God gave you two feet, two whole legs. Get up and go. Don't be part of this chicanery. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My goodness, I had a lot to get off my chest today. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support, you guys. And I just want to see you grow. And I hope that if you do watch these videos, I hope that you are able to get something good and you're able to get something positive from these videos, because so many of our spaces aren't. I love you. You're beautiful. And I accept and I embrace you. Peace, love, and many blessings.